They won't see you. Your name's no good now.
We'll present our case to the council tonight.
So why are you out here?
I'm a misfit too, I suppose. What will you do?
Where are you going? I don't know. Back where I came from?
Join the Talus Hammer business, I guess?
You can't do that.
I can fix this. You can't.
No, I can't.
Come inside, Caitlyn. Now.
Go back to that big, shiny house of yours and just... forget me. Okay?
There's a clear parallel between both these scenes, showing just how much Caitlyn has grown and how much she cares for Vi. She's standing in the rain, raindrops falling on her face, this time with no umbrella, no protection, exposed to being hurt, not running back to the house as opposed to when her mother told her to go back inside while talking to Dayz. In fact, this time she was encouraged to go after Vi by her mother, to run after her, even if to be hurt, even if to be left behind. What Arcane showed us was no more, no less, a beautiful, heartbreaking breakup scene. The paradox is that Caitlyn and Vi never actually got together, never actually became a couple. It was more of an unnamed connection, one that he couldn't really put a label on, one that's been slowly building, like a slow burn relationship, but not one that actually came to exist. Despite the fact they never actually named it, despite the fact they never actually got together, it was a breakup, and it was written in a beautiful manner, just like anything that Arcane writers did. During the entire season 1, Caitlyn only has 2 rain scenes. During the first one, she's still very young, she's still protected by her parents, she's still heavily influenced by her mother and she does whatever she's told. You can see that physically. She's covered by a big umbrella. There's no rain falling down on her. In fact, when her mother tells her to go home, she instantly goes home. As opposed to the scene that we're discussing right now, the breakup scene. During that scene, her mother actually told her to go, to follow Vi. She realized straight away that there's something going on there, that there's a relationship that needs protecting, that needs going after, and that's what Caitlyn did. Despite the rain, without any umbrella, she followed Vi, and she tried fighting for her. There's so much that suggests that this is actually a breakup.
There must be something else we can do. Some other way. We'll make a new plan. We have to try.
We tried, okay? It wasn't enough.
Until a certain moment, Caitlyn only refers to them both as us. We. Even Vi does it. But at a certain point, when Vi calls them oil and water, when she claims that they don't belong together, she stresses the fact that they're separate.
Go back to that big, shiny house of yours and just... forget me, okay?
She tells her to go back to that house of hers. There's no more we, no more us. She doesn't even look at her because looking back could mean that she would break down, that she wouldn't be able to leave. Instead, she wears a hoodie, which is also a physical evidence of obstacles between them, of Vi's withdrawal. During the scene with Dayz, Caitlyn instantly ran back to the house when she was told to. Here, she was standing there, waiting, fighting for Vi. But not enough. We could obviously see that during the shower scene when she was probably wondering what she could have done differently, trying to go back in time, trying to change things, trying to get Vi back. During both Caitlyn rain scenes, she was faced with someone who no longer belonged in her world, whether it was the world of upper class with Dayz or Piltover with Vi. Except the parallel between these scenes is that Caitlyn actually grew so much. This time around, she decided to fight for the person that she loves, that she cares about. During the scene with Dayz, she told him her parents wouldn't be able to see him, that he no longer belongs there, in their house. With Vi, she was able to fight her parents. She was able to get them a meeting with the council to present their case. So even though the circumstances between both these moments were clearly different, there was nothing romantic going on between Caitlyn and Dayz. And there was certainly something romantic going on between Vi and Caitlyn. These two scenes were clearly tied. Even visually, the rain, the green tones. Arcane writers were trying to tell us that Caitlyn progressed. They also were trying to tell us that Caitlyn learned so much thanks to Vi, which is something that she pointed out herself.
Even though we failed her in countless ways, she risked everything to show me what life is really like down there.
While doing that, they actually created one of the most beautifully written breakup scenes. Like I mentioned before, Caitlyn and Vi never actually got together, yet they had a relationship in progress, without having to actually acknowledge it with words. They slowly got closer and closer together until a point when it was obvious that when Caitlyn said,
What about us?
Vi knew that there is an us, that there's something that needs to end right now, because she believes she no longer belongs in that world. She believes that the faith that she put in Piltover and ultimately in Caitlyn went to waste because the council wouldn't listen to her.
Oil and water. Was it meant to be?
Vi called her and Caitlyn oil and water. She said that they don't mix, they don't belong together. Later on, in that very same episode, during Caitlyn's shower scene, we saw blood dripping, blood mixing with water, telling us visually that they're not oil and water, they're actually blood and water. They do belong together and they do mix. Obviously, this can only mean one thing. This breakup, this goodbye is not forever. It doesn't matter as much what's going to happen in season 2 because ultimately they will find their way back to each other. This is what Arcane writers are trying to tell us. Caitlyn grew so much. She grew enough that she stood up to her mother. She exposed herself to lack of protection. She exposed herself to pain because she fell in love, because she cared about someone. So even though Caitlyn taking a shower, blood mixing with water is a direct continuation of that goodbye scene, of the actual breakup that they went through, the scene with Dayz and Caitlyn is a hidden reference. It adds another layer to Caitlyn's decision to actually fight for Vi, to follow her,
You're just saying that.
to feel disbelief when told that Vi wants to give up on her. Because even though they spent only a few days together, she strongly believed that their bond is stronger than whatever obstacles they might encounter. It was a very different situation that day with Dayz, when she was outside, but protected, when she instantly went home. I find that detail and the parallel between these scenes to be very interesting, and I think it's supposed to be read together. Now, if you want to find out more about why I think that Caitlyn and Vi's relationship is an actual relation, a beautiful one, and a very well presented example of an LGBT relationship, you can watch the video that I will leave in the outro. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. Stay safe, guys. Bye.